Welcome to Technology and Education Today. I'm Richard Smith.
And I'm Caroline Crawford, and we are coming to you from the University of Houston Clear Lake in Houston, Texas, USA, and we are part of the Instructional Design and Technology program.
And today we're talking about what it takes to be a teacher online.
It's actually quite difficult. I find it to be a lot more engaging, and the opportunities to interact with people are much more prevalent than within a face-to-face type environment.
Well, actually, that's an interesting point, because you being a young kid would think that interacting...
Who are you talking to? Me? Thank you, Richard, thank you. I haven't heard that in a very long time.
You would think interacting electronically is the equal of interacting face-to-face. I, on the other hand, think that interacting face-to-face has a lot of advantages over interacting electronically.
See, I think quite the opposite. I think online interactions have significantly more opportunities for thoughtful reflection before there's a response offered, and the opportunity as well to go out and do different searches and glean information and pull it back in. For example, if we're talking about a learning theory and we're going back and forth about, I don't really understand this learning theory and I don't understand how I would implement it within my own professional learning environment, it gives me as the instructor an opportunity to go out and obtain the information that someone else has already offered, focused upon that subject area of expertise, and integrate it into the conversation more so than on-the-fly, face-to-face type environment where I can say, well, yeah, there are plenty of ways, and the conversation's over.
Now that's an interesting point, because there are...
I had an interesting point.
Yes, you had an interesting point. Because in order to do the things that you're doing, those are dependent within an online course on the design of an online course. So as an online teacher, there are two basic situations that you can find yourself in. One, you could be teaching a course that you designed on your own. Or two, you could be teaching a course that somebody else designed. Now, in my opinion, if you are teaching a course that you designed and it's online, then you are truly teaching a course. If you are teaching a course that somebody else designed, you're not really teaching that course. Basically, you're kind of facilitating it, or you're checking the homework, or you're doing some ancillary procedures around the course, but you're not really teaching that course. Whoever designed that course is the one who is really teaching it. So,
I'm not sure I necessarily agree with that. I understand what you're saying and where you're coming from, but I'm not sure I necessarily agree with the thought process involved in the outcome. Because yes, obviously whoever designs the online course environment, that person has direct control over the environment in which the information is being framed, as well as the quantity and quality of information that is being offered to the student. However, that doesn't mean that you as the instructor can't enhance that environment.
You can enhance it, but you don't design it. You are not the one who selected the content. You are not the one who selected the methods, and you are not the one who has selected the text
and the
readings and the assessment procedures. And you're not the one. Somebody else did. What you are doing is facilitating it.
But that also depends upon who developed the course and is willing to offer it to someone else to instruct. A lot of instructors will tell you, no, you can't change anything about my course. You will instruct it the way I designed it. And whenever someone takes one of my courses, like, you're the instructor of record. If you want to revise it, then meet the main objectives and go for it.
True. But still, all you're doing is tinkering around the edges. So this brings us to another point.
Well, but when I teach one of your courses, when I have an opportunity to facilitate one of your online courses, I love it. It's wonderful.
Yeah, they're wonderful courses.
But I have had opportunities and heard about opportunities to work with other designers' products, and not so wonderful.
Not so wonderful. So this brings me to another point.
Oh, you actually want to speak at some point.
I want to speak. I want to say something.
Instead of my rambling, thank you.
Which is to teach an online course, it really requires a certain amount of training. And when I say teach an online course, in the ideal sense, you are the person who has created that course, and you are the one who actually teaches the course, receives the students. But in the training of teachers for online to be online teachers, that means that there has to be training included in the curriculum. There needs to be training on, one, how to create an online course, and two, how to deal with a course that somebody else has developed and that you are now assigned to teach.
Well, not only that, but let's say as a novice instructional designer who hasn't developed and instructed online courses before, there's this whole throw everything and the kitchen sink mentality into an online course, and that's just stupid.
Well, yes, a lot of people try, and this would be part of the training. In fact, it is part of the training in the course that I teach at University of UC Clear Lake on designing a course, which is that you need to design a course that at the same time is, one, going to be effective, and two, a course that you can teach without killing yourself because
the learner.
Or the students, because of the amount of work that you have assigned that you have to check now, or the learner, you've just given too much work.
There's no time for reflection. There's no time
zero.
for actually working with the information that they're supposed to be.
And you know why and you know why this happens? I think because, especially as you mentioned, a novice designer or a teacher who's been assigned to design an online course and has no previous experience, the first thought is to how to emulate a face-to-face class online.
Really? I was thinking that it was all ego. That I have to prove how intelligent I am through this one product, and it's just crazy talk.
Part of it's ego. If you consider it this way, if you're asked to produce or direct a 1-hour television program, a drama or something, and you've never done it before, and you say, "Oh, I can do this."
You never had it emulated for you.
And I
never had a mentor.
Well, you see what's on television, and you try to emulate it.
That's like people who say they can be teachers because they were a student in a class once.
Yes, but you see what's on television.
That's just foolish.
And you say, "Gee, all I really need to do is point the camera and get some people in front of there, and I'll have a great show." Well, it seems very simple. The same way designing an online course kind of seems simple.
It seems simple when there's a great product to look at, and oh yeah, of course you should have done it that way.
It's a very sophisticated operation. So before, one thing that schools of education need to get into more and more is teaching teachers, pre-service teachers and master's degree teachers, students who are studying for the master's degree, how to design an online course, and what goes with that is how to evaluate an online course. And really, ideally, you should not evaluate an online course in terms of what you would expect in a face-to-face course. These are two different but related concepts.
See, I was listening to you say how to design and teach an online course, and I'm thinking the modeling component is as important, if not perhaps more important.
Modeling in which way?
Modeling how to facilitate an online learning environment, how to work with online learners, how to develop a community of learners.
As part of the instruction for online teachers?
Right.
Yes.
You can't tell someone what to do and expect them just to be able to somehow magically understand what you're talking about without having that experience. It has to be an experiential
the course, component. You're right. And the course itself that...
Say it again.
You're right.
Woo! Very exciting.
You wouldn't believe she outranks me at the university.
Little things make me so happy.
The course that teaches teachers how to teach online should itself be an example of how to teach online. And it should be effective at that. And also another component of how to teach it, how to create online teachers, is that you should not simply discuss various concepts of what goes into an online course to make it effective. The teachers should actually design their own online course within the course on how to be an online teacher. Now, this is something that we do at the University of Clear Lake.
An ethereal type discussion. It should be focused upon a person's subject matter area of expertise, especially for teacher candidates. Having this type of information framed within their own subject matter areas of expertise is vitally important.
Right, but that's
cute and lovely to talk about it as an aside for the teacher candidates, but until it's actually integrated, the perception and conceptual understanding isn't necessarily enhanced.
And that's why we have them design a course within the online course It's
Well,
students involved
within our graduate program, we
within
do,
the graduate
yes.
program. The students in at least two places. One in our course on interactive distance education, which prepares students to be designers and teachers of online courses, and then also in
Persons who already hold certification.
yeah,
Or
also
are
also
professional.
our core technology course for all teachers in our program, in our master's degree program in the School of Education at University of Houston Clear Lake, contains an entire unit of how to design an online course. And I think this is something that all schools of education should do. There should be a baseline of instruction for all their pre-service candidates and all their master's degree candidates in education, pre-service teachers.
Well, for
And how to
persons who
design-
already hold their certification,
and-
their teacher certification,
And
we
how
do
to
have
design
in
an
Texas Virtual School Network
Right.
certification, as well as our distance learning certificate through our program as well, which also includes all this information.
This forms a basis of what should go into preparing teachers to teach online. One,
It's just as viable in business and industry as well.
One, they need to understand the concepts of teaching online, but still in that preparation, they need to actually create a course of their own, not just a pretend course. We have our students create their courses in Blackboard, and they create a 3-week course with content, and the students evaluate each other's courses, and they get graded actually on how well they evaluate the other students' courses, because they need to be evaluators of distance learning courses in addition to being
And we
able
have
to
a
be
follow-up
teachers.
course to
of,
that course where they actually act as an instructor within the course that they initially developed in your course. They act as the instructor, and the other students act as students to further engage them in an understanding of how much time and effort it actually takes,
Yes,
which the perception is quite different than the truth.
I think we should get into time and effort in another program, because we have reached the end.
Oh,
yes,
that's too bad. We
the
can just
end.
ramble about this topic forever. I love this topic.
One of our favorite topics.
Tis
So,
true.
I'm Richard Smith.
And I'm Caroline Crawford. Again, we're from the University of Houston Clear Lake Instructional Design and Technology Program in Houston, Texas, USA. Bye!